Hello my sweet friends and welcome to DIY with Nadia. As you saw by the title, we are doing 3 of these bunny wreaths that are from the Dollar Tree Plus section. And this means we are going to have one happy craft room today because I cannot wait to show you what I make with these. Now, we're not going to make this complicated. We are going to make these easy and fun, and anyone can make any 3 of these bunny wreaths. Without further ado, let's get started. For this wreath, I am using the Dollar Tree Grapevine wreath. You could get it for $5 in the plus section. Then I'm using some florals and zip ties. For the florals, I'm going to be using some of these glitter branches. This one is fairly pink, as you can see, and this one is very, very faint pink. Then I'm going to be using some of these glitter berries. I'm also going to be using a bushel of this really beautiful greenery grass. And then I'm going to use 2 picks. You guys know what a fan I am of picks. These particular picks are from Joann's. Look at the flower. It's just so beautiful. But Dollar Tree does have very similar ones. Look at this one. This one's from the Dollar Tree. And it's stunning. And it actually has 2 flowers on here versus the one, but I want to use this one because I want to combine these, and we're going to make this huge flower in the center. The first step in a grapevine wreath is always to clean up any strays that are in your way. But the thing is, this is a very delicate, very thin little wreath. So what I would do instead is try to tuck those little strays in instead of cutting them off, because there's just not too much to work with here. The next thing we're going to do for this particular wreath is remove the chicken wire. Sometimes it's easy to remove it and it's just like this. Not all of it is securely tucked in there. Just be very careful because the ends are quite sharp. I'm going to do the same thing on here. Just first try to tug on it to see if anything comes off, like this right here. Because as I said, it's not as securely tucked in there as you might think. And then just use your little wire cutters to cut the rest off. This wreath is nice and clean, no chicken wire. There were none in the ears, and this is the hanging loop. Now I'm going to go ahead and start working on our florals. First things first, let's take these little tags off. The game plan for this wreath is to have a beautiful floral cascading to the sides. So we want to make it even on both sides. If I have a floral pick that has 5 little branches, I'm either going to use 2 on each side, or I'm going to grab another bushel and add to this. So I'm thinking I'm going to add 1 more because I do want 3 on each side. I want a little bit more greenery than I have here. I'm going to cut as close to the stem as possible. We can always cut them shorter, but in the beginning, I like to cut them really long. These dark pink glitter branches, I'm going to need 4 of these, 2 on each side. Same thing on the light pink, we're going to need 4 total. For the glitter berries, I'm going to have 1 branch that is longer and has more berries, and the second one has a little less, and I'm going to put this combo on each side. And I'm not going to be using these glittery leaves. Now it's time to divide everything. Move this to the side so we can start bringing this one together. I'm going to start with the dark pink. I want to make sure that it kind of flows with the angle of our wreath. Then we're going to have the light one because I feel like it just needs it. A beautiful combo. You still have the dark pink, but then this light pink gives it such elegance. Next we have the greenery, and I'm going to push up as much of the greenery as possible towards the top so we can get more stem. Of course, you want some a little higher, some a little lower with the added greenery. With the berries, I want the single one on top and the double at the bottom because you want it to get a little heavier towards the center. And so these are going to be our sides. First thing I'm going to do is zip tie everything together. And zip tie it until it's tight, but not all the way. And then see if you need to move anything up or down. I feel like mine is just fine, and all these branches are very loosey-goosey. I kind of wanted that. and you can still see the pink. I'm liking the way that looks. Now I'm just going to hold everything in place and really tighten up that zip tie of mine so there's no movement. I want to make sure that everything is in place and it looks like it is. Now I can cut off the tail, bending it at that bottom part so that it lays really beautifully on our wreath. Even bring in the main flower to make sure that the bend is where it needs to be, which it is in this case. Now I'm going to make the exact same bundle for the other side, but I'm going to keep it near me because I'm going to use this as a reference to make sure that the height is right and everything else. Both sides are done. Now it's time to attach. I'm going to bring in my picks, and the first thing I want to do right there where the flower is, I'm going to start bending because that's where I need it to go down. And my stem is going to go down behind this whole section. The other flower, make sure the greenery is bending the other way. Our picks are ready. I'm going to bring them together and I'm going to squish this part where the flower is because we kind of want to make it look like there's just big gigantic flower. When you have the flower all set, grab a zip tie and bring the flower together just like this. I have both of these zip tied together. When I feel like it looks beautiful, I'm going to take the center out very gently and zip tie these guys in place. And what I like to do is try to go through the wreath. Here is what I mean. My zip tie is coming through the center of the grapevine. That way I know it's going to be secure. And since this is zip tied already, you can come through some of the branches. I'm going to cut the stem off of this one that's really long. Now it's time to attach the second side. And I'm just making sure it's pretty much a mirror of the other side as far as location is concerned. Taking my zip tie, I'm going to try to go through the middle of the grapevine and attach. Anything sticking out too much, you can get rid of that. And we're going to gently wiggle this part in. To go through the center of my grapevine, I'm going to put a letter opener. I'm just gently wiggling in. You don't have to use this. This is not sharp, by the way. And I'm going to put my zip tie in, so now I can just follow it just like that. And then take this out. And when I zip tie this, it's going to be nice and secure. I'm tightening the zip tie and cutting off the tail. And that is it for our beautiful floral bunny. Here are the supplies for the fuzzy bunny wreath. We're going to need a grapevine bunny wreath form. For flowers, I'm going to be using these beautiful amaranthus flowers. Then we're going to get some faux fur fabric. I'm going to be using 1 roll of the gray and 2 rolls of this white fuzzy fabric. For ribbon, I'm going to be using this gray ribbon that is 1.5 inches in width and wired. I use a rubber band to hold my ribbon in place. Let me know what you like to use. Then I'm going to use some floral wire. This is some 26 gauge floral wire, so kind of on the thin side. As long as it's pliable and easy for you to use and matches the wreath base nicely. And then of course, we're going to need some wire cutters for this one. The first thing I'm going to do is take the little florals off the stems. If you're using amaranthus like I am, you're going to need 3 to 4 bushels. Now I'm going to take each stem and I'm going to get rid of this plasticky part and just leave the part that has the white flowers on it. My flowers are ready to get attached, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach them right along the wreath itself. You can either hot glue them, or I do recommend using a floral wire because it's just going to be a lot cleaner that way. Even if the wire shows a little bit, which this black one will not, it will still be a little bit cleaner than hot glue on front of the wreath. I'm trying to pick the nicest ones for the ears and preferably ones that already have the bend Starting at the top, attach my wire, and right away I'm going to attach the little flowers. Let's just twist my wire in place. And now I'm just going to twist it, making sure I go in between the branches of the flower. If you're going to do small little flowers, it might be easier just to hot glue it. But something like this, I think wire is the best option. And let's do this one. And now I'm just going around. Next, I'm going to do this ear and connect the little white flowers just like I did on this one. The ears are done, and let me tell you, my friends, I thought this was going to be a tedious kind of thing, but it's not. It is so much fun. I'm telling you, a lot more fun than I thought, seriously. As I'm going around the head part and the body part of the bunny, I'm also going to be catching on to the chicken wire because I'm also making sure that the wire is going to be on strong when we put the little fuzzy fabric on top. This has been so much fun. I'm done with the top of the bunny. Now I'm ready to do the bottom part, and just like the top, going to go around making sure I'm catching the chicken wire. I am adding my last little piece right here and going all the way around. I'm telling you, my friends, this is way too much fun. I'm done putting on all the florals. I'm missing this little part, but no worries. We're going to have a bow that's going to cover that part. Now it's time to flip our bunny over. I'm going to start with the gray, and I'm going to eye where I want it to go and cut the little ears. I'm cutting it by feel, basically. There's my first one. Now I'm going to grab the white fuzzy part and I'm just going to draw where to cut. We're going to hot glue this on the inside. That's the little one, and here is the big one. Cutting a little bit over that, just in case. I'm ready to attach the ears. I'm just going to add one side on, and I'm trying to be as centered as possible. And I'm going to press and hold to make sure all the fuzzies kind of catch. Ooh, that's holding on nicely. Let's do this side. Let's do the second ear. Now I'm going to trim a little bit here and there. Okay, my friends, the ears are done. And as I hold the fur, I'm just going to start hot gluing it to the chicken wire. And I'm just going to do section at a time, let this cool, and then do the next one. I'm just finishing up gluing the top of the bunny. This is so easy and adorable. I'm hot gluing the bottom part in place, starting with the center. And off I go, waiting for the hot glue to cool. I am done attaching all the fuzzies to this bunny. Now it's time to make the bow. And I decided to keep it simple, make a 4-loop bow. I don't believe in making bows that are really big on these bunnies, because if you do that, you lose the shape of the bunny. So a few loops, maybe 6 loops, depending on the ribbon that you're using, is just fine. Let me see if I like the way it looks here. There you go. And I'm just making a simple bow, wrapping my loops around, just like this. To bring this bow together, I'm just going to squeeze it in the middle and use the floral wire. Before I cinch it in tight, I'm going to make sure all my loops are the same size. Fold in the center, twist it in the back. Make little dovetails by folding the tails in half and cutting a little triangle out, just like this, and a little triangle. For the center of the bow, you can do a few things. You can put a little button, whatever you want to do, or you can put a piece of that little faux fur that's left, or even the little flower. I decided to do the flower and the fur. Why not, right? My wire is still there. I just put it to the left and the right, and I'm going to hot glue the fur in place. Cut off all the fuzziness. We don't need that here. And then this side. That looks so adorable. Let's put the little florals on here. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually wrap the wire that's going to hold it the best. Cut off the extra. I'm putting all my bows in the center because I just think it balances everything out. But you can definitely put it on top. Now this looks adorable too, for sure. I would just make it a tiny bit smaller if I was doing it on top, but I am going to put it here because that's how I had it in my head. Securing the bow in place. The final step of the bow is to make banner tails. So I'm going to fold my little tail about 1/3, and I'm going to do this together to make it simple. And then all you do is grab on both sides where the wire is and flip back, just like this, and flip back. It should look something like this, like a little wave. Same thing on this side, grab both sides and just twist back. I just think it elevates the bow and ultimately the wreath when you do that. And I'm all done with this beautiful furry bunny. For this beautiful farmhouse bunny wreath, I'm going to be using a grapevine bunny wreath form. Then I'm going to be using a lot of these peonies. These are the white ones with just specks of pink here and there, so very elegant. And of course, the star of the show is this beautiful ribbon. Just look at these bunnies, so absolutely adorable. This ribbon is 2.5 inches and it has wired edges. I'm also going to be using some floral wire and hot glue gun. The first thing you want to do is go around the wreath and see if there's anything sticking out too much on the outside, especially on the ears, but not too much. If you can tuck something in, go ahead and do that. Not worried about the inside because this is where our flowers are gonna go. Grabbing the floral wire, this one is 26 gauge. We're going to secure the chicken wire in place. Now, while it looks like it's in place, I'm going to be putting flowers on here, and I do not want to have the risk of any of the edges coming loose. Definitely worth the extra step of just securing that in place and just twisting the wire in place. This is a black wire, so it really should not show a lot. I'm just twisting the wire around, making sure I'm catching those loops. Same thing on the top section. I'm wrapping the wire and trying to secure this mesh as much as possible. As you guys can see, I have a little visitor, making sure that the mesh is on nice and secure. Now I'm going to bring in those beautiful peonies, and what I'm going to do is just take them all off the stem. You can use different flowers. Ranunculus is another beautiful flower to use for this. Basically any flower that's going to give you a beautiful fullness on the inside. I'm eyeing all the flowers, and this is 4 bushels of the peonies. Now I'm going to take them off and make sure I unite this little part with a green little petal right here. Grabbing my hot glue gun, I'm just going to go around and seal that up. And I'm going to do this to all of the flowers. If your hot glue gun has a high and a low, keep it on the low, because sometimes the plastic part here is so elegant or so gentle, you can melt it and it just causes a little bit of problem. So I just keep it on low for this. I'm done attaching all my flowers on the little stems, and now I'm going to attach them to the actual netting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this part right here and I'm going to hook it on the netting, literally just hooking it on. When it's hooked, that's when I'm going to grab my hot glue and hot glue that. And that is what's going to keep that flower in place. Taking my next flower, same thing. I'm going to hook it on with that greenery, just like that. Then I'm going to check, make sure that looks good next to the other one. Let me turn it. There you can see the metal right there. And I'm going to put the hot glue right on top. And that's it, my friends. I'm going to continue doing this all the way around on top. And then we're going to do the same thing in the bottom area. And this way I know it's attached, and it's also attaching that petal to the flower itself, and it's going to keep everything in place. With that one done, I'm going to move on to this part. The flowers are all on and I'm ready to make the bow. I'm going to start the bow a few inches in. You don't need more than 2. Gather it and we're going to make a simple bow. 2 loops. Let's see how big we want it. I think that's about right. So 1 on this side. There's our second loop and we're doing this freehand, so I'm definitely going to make sure I have the center just by folding it in half like that. After I have my center, I'm going to gather it and I'm going to grab a floral wire for this. I just have the black one on hand, so I'm grabbing that one. And what I want to do is just wrap it a few times, but we're not going to seal it because we need the second half of the tail. Measuring how long I want my tail to be. I think this will be cute right there. Now I'm going to measure the tail for the other side. About there. Let's cut that off. Once you have that, collect it. And then this one is going to face the other way, of course. And I'm going to use that floral wire to bring everything together. Give it a few good twists. Let's tie it in the back. Next, I'm going to make fishtails on the ends. And I'm going to use that floral wire to wrap it around the center and tie it in place in the back. Make sure your little bow is centered. And then I'm going to grab one of these roses, but you can grab anything you want. And I'm going to hot glue straight to the center of that bow. I'm looking at it and I decided to add 2 more of these roses just so it's a little bit more noticeable. So I'll add a little bit more hot glue, put all of these 3 roses together. And that is it for this sweet little bunny. Wasn't this a fun video? In the comments below, I would love to know which bunny wreath is your favorite, or maybe which one you're going to try to recreate. This was so much fun. Now, if you enjoy videos like this, don't forget to subscribe if you're not subscribed already, and give this video a thumbs up so this video keeps on growing and we keep on coming back. Thank you so much for being with us, and we will see you in our next video. Bye, everyone. Somebody say bye. Oh, that was nice. Bye, guys.